We are live back on location from the HBCU OverDrive dungeon. All right. This is the HBCU OverDrive tournament recap. If you haven't done it by now, make sure that you like this stream, make sure that you comment, share, and most of all, subscribe. Um, Make sure you most subscribe, become a hit that notification bell to get everything HBCU OverDrive, and also make sure that you become an OverDrive fan and get everything for uh $4.99. All updates, everything for $4.99. So man, let's go ahead and get into it, y'all. Let's get into it. Uh so tonight, well, today, early today, we all saw Norfolk State go up against the number one seed in the tournament for the women's side. That is University of South Carolina, who is coached by Dawn Staley, who is a Hall of Famer in her own right, college, WNBA, overseas in her own right. Uh, if watched the game, Norfolk State came out with some spunk. They came out with uh, a little aggression. They came out to to say that they're not, you know, they came out basically saying we can run with y'all. But um, as you seen, as far as what you see, um, they were seeded as a 16 seed, which I figured they would have been. I figured they would have been uh, a little bit higher, probably like a 14 seed, kind of give it some sort of leeway. But um, but I'm just gonna go ahead and say they should have been more of a 15 to 14. They did win a conference. They had a good out of conference schedule. Um, they played hard, um, but out of conference. And what I'm about to do is let y'all listen to what Coach Staley had to say as far as what her um, Norfolk State was about.
I'm gonna say it today, so we can prep for next year. Norfolk State is not a 16 seed. Just want you to know that they're not. Very well coached, very disciplined. Um, I mean, they play for 40 minutes. They run some great stuff, and I mean, if it wasn't for the way we play defense, they would probably given us a lot of troubles considering how we did not shoot the ball well outside of the first quarter.
And as y'all see, man, this is coming from, like I said, Hall of Famer. Um, she's gonna be national champion again. Um, she's gonna be a national champion again this year. I don't see nobody going up against her unless it's LSU. And if LSU get their stuff together, that I think that's the only team that would be able to go up against South Carolina. Um, that team is stacked, y'all. That team is stacked. Man, we got people. What's going on? What's going on, Ronald? Man, Ronald like my cousin right here. Um, Coming in from that Monroe. Miak Mike. What's good? What's good, Miak Mike? Southbound. Hey, I'm gonna still talk to my district manager and see what we can do as far as the Liz and the Jackson State partnership. See what we can do. Um, based on what FDU is doing in the tournament, someone has to give Texas Southern an apology. Well, they might have to give an apology. I forgot Roger Jones. What's going on? What's going on with our trainers? I don't know what's up with our trainers. I had to see what's up. I had to see what's up with that. KD, what's good? What's good? What's good? And we gonna look. We gonna get into that right there because I'm gonna dedicate the last part of my show to just the Hemingway. Um, for all the rattlers. If the rattlers ain't coming in in the stream, make sure all the rattlers come in and we gonna go to church. All right. So I'm gonna say it like this: what did we learn? What did we learn this year for the tournament this year? Uh, I think we learned that uh, scheduling is the biggest priority. I think we learned that um, having a deep bench is a big priority. I also think we learned. Um, I also think we learned um, not to take a lot of teams for granted. Uh, I'm just saying that. I just think we shouldn't take. We I don't think some teams would take us real serious. But look, on the real, what I saw yesterday with Howard and going up against a number one seed in Kansas, um, that was a big deal, and especially for them to get the lead with three separate occasions. Um, it says a lot for that program, and we got Mr. Four. How you doing? Yeah, probably having issues. I'm gonna send it back in, but for those guys yesterday to hang with Kansas for a half and be up by three on three separate occasions. Um, that says a lot. That says that we're not scared to play against these top schools. We're not scared. Um, and it is true, KD. All 13 to 16 seeds are not garbage. But if you one of those high seeds and you catch one of those seeds, those lower seeds on a good day, they'll run you out the gym. Mr. Four, how you doing?
Hey, can you hear me?
Hear you loud and clear.
Listen, what you said, I want to echo that. I just want to express my condolences to Kofi Hemingway's family. I knew his father before I knew him. His dad was a big time historian who those of us who were historians
Mm-hmm.
copied, followed, and learned from. And I met his dad through another mighty rattler by the name of Charlie Ward Sr. For those of
Oh,
you who don't know who that is, that's Charlie Ward Jr.'s dad. Charlie Ward Jr. won the Heisman Trophy at Florida State as a quarterback.
right.
And then I met Kofi's father. Charlie Ward Sr. had a Black History program in a town called Thomasville, Georgia. And that's where I met him. I mean, he had us spellbound with the history that he gave that night. And so once again, I just want to express my condolences to Mr. Kofi Hemingway's family. This is a major loss. He was a diehard rattler. He was a diehard rattler. And like I said, I knew his father long before I knew him. And they were brilliant people. They were brilliant folks.
Right.
You asked the question, what have we learned?
what have
I'm
we
a
learned today? What have we learned for this year's tournament? What
well.
did we
Let,
learn?
let me go ahead and make these people mad because I said this before and Mr. Campbell came up with this excuse. But the thing I've learned so far is we need our own tournament. We need a HBCU tournament with MEAC, SWAC, CIAA, SIAC, NAIA schools like them Langstons and Tougaloo and what's that school over there? Steelman, all them schools. We
Hmm.
need our own tournament. Okay. All right. So what that lady, you just showed a good clip. You just showed a good clip when you showed Don Staley what she's saying. See,
Yeah,
she know that's Jim Crowism. The
yeah,
fact that Norfolk, every black school always got to be the 16th seed or the play-in, but then if they do make it to the tournament, they got to play the number one school. See, that's all about eliminating that Negro before Friday. That's what
mm,
that's about. You got to eliminate them Negro colleges before Friday. That's what that's all about. But that's what I've learned. We need our own tournament. I know Mr. Campbell and them gonna get them excuses about where it's $2 million and all that. But let me tell you something. There's two things we gonna regret in the next 5 to 10 years. Let me tell you the first one, and the Negroes get mad about this too. We gonna regret that we did not combine the SWAC with the MEAC because of all of them ignorant people over there in the MEAC, starting with that commissioner's office who don't do nothing. And I'm telling you now, we're gonna regret that we did not combine the MEAC and the SWAC. The second thing we're gonna regret is not having our own tournament. So yeah, you're right. What they say, somebody said, Mr. Ford, that's them. Oh yeah, oh yeah. But yeah, them two things we gonna regret. You just wait. Because one of the problems we got, whether we want to accept it or not, we always reactive. We never proactive. And that's one of the reasons I do like Dr. Charles McClellan now. They are proactive.
right.
Okay. I want him to do better about that SWAC tournament, though. And I want him to do better about the conference offices pushing of regular season basketball in the SWAC.
Correct. I feel you on that. I get I get with what you're saying. Like we is either to me what it is that is either treat us fairly to where we are on the same page as these other schools that we got to play, or we'll be out of there. We'll be out of there.
Yeah,
We'll
listen,
create our own thing.
it's been 40, what has it been, 40 years now that they start letting the blacks come to that Division I tournament, and it's been the same thing. You
Hmm.
get the 16 seed or the play-in. It's kind of like a woman that's getting battered. You decide either you're gonna stop getting battered and be by yourself
Yeah.
and do your own thing, or continue to get back. Let me see this. Let me read this. What Mr. Mike said. He said, "Mr. Ford, you have to stop that. We got our asses kicked. We can't just keep making celebration votes because we can't compete. It's better we move the Division II than run from the tournament." Uh, Listen, now, like I just said, if you want to keep getting beaten up and get your programs embarrassed and runway possible recruit, then go ahead on and do what that Mike guy is saying right there. Okay? But if you want to build up your program, you're going to have your own tournament. Okay?
So the last HBCU team on the real that they did not get a 16 seed was Norfolk State. That was the year that they won. I forgot who that's the year they beat Missouri in 2010. So that's the last time we seen a HBCU team get nothing more than get a 15 seed or higher. Every year we get a 16 seed. Every
Oh,
year we get a play-in game.
Okay, so
Every
let me say this to MEAC Mike. You said, Mr. Ford, your generation chose integration. Now you're complaining about the result. Some of us chose it. Okay, some of us. Not don't put us all in the bag. Okay, because you're right. I was a part of that. Because I'm one of them people. For the first 7 years of my schooling, you're right. All my teachers were black. I was in a black system. I was slated to go to a black high school. You're right. But always remember this. Some people wanted it. Not all people wanted it. Because a lot of people knew what the result was going to be.
right.
Okay? They knew. All right. All right. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Uh, I'm sorry. You can go on. I'm sorry. I just wanted to answer that.
No, you're good. You're good. You're good. But I mean, do do we have to do we have to get better as a you know what I'm saying as a team as individual programs? I think we have to.
No doubt about it.
We have to.
No
We
doubt
have to.
about it.
That's the reason why on the women's side, that's the reason why you've seen teams like Jackson State. That's the reason why you've seen Coach Reed load up that schedule uh with nothing but uh uh higher division major schools, not not mid majors, but your ACCs, your Big 12 schools, your Pac 12 schools. She loaded that schedule. What y'all seen this season, she loaded that schedule up because she knew when it came down to come for tournament time, her team was going to be mentally tough and physically tough when it comes down for the tournament.
And,
That's the reason
then,
why.
Doc, one of the things we got to realize, Miss Reed had the best. She had the best women's program in HBCU basketball, and then she got to go to the NIT. She don't even get a chance to go to the NCAA. But y'all all right with that? That's
That
ridiculous.
now the problem with that, what I see is we have to look at it to where because we're a one bid league as a swag. The MEAC is a one bid league. Like majority of the schools in mid majors are one bid. You know, they only send one school. Now you'll probably get a school like from like I said from the Missouri Valley. That probably sends two schools to the dance. Your what's another mid major like an A10, Atlantic 10. You'll see them send like 2 or 3 schools to the tournament, but it's all about. I mean, and if I'm reading what Sonny Boone said. He's saying we need to look at those 12, 14 seeds of see what their schedules look like. See
Well,
what
let me
to
say
see
this.
what we're doing. What he's saying is we got to see what he's what we're. I don't know, say messing up at, but where we can improve it because it's all about improvement. Everything is about improvement. It's nothing.
Well, let me say this to Blue Blood right here. Now, you're right. She did lose the SWAC tournament, but see, I can't say it on radio. I wish I could tell you what they can do with their one bid. That's why I say have your own. Okay, do your own thing. All right. See, when you run around with all that gonna be in somebody else's tournament and all this diversity, that stuff don't work for us. That's what has killed black college basketball. Okay, so Blue, let me say this right here. I understand what you're saying right here. All mid majors are one bid leagues. I understand that, but see, bump that. My thing is, put your heads together. We got people in that SWAC office and in the MEAC office. They got PhDs. They ain't dumb. They can put together a tournament. They can go out and get sponsors. Have your own tournament. All of this, you talking about this one bid league, that's what has killed black college HBCU basketball.
Yeah, I think what messed it up is having one bid to go into the tournament. Having all your top players going to uh
Well, you depending on
higher.
people that hate you. Them people don't want us in that tournament. Somebody done put it in there. They don't want you in that tournament. They're going to do anything to get you out that tournament. I'm saying set up your own tournament. You are not a helpless people. You got a glorious history. I don't understand why you got this inferiority complex about yourself.
Yep.
Set up your own tournament. You don't have to be in their tournament. I mean, all you got to do is go back and study the history of HBCUs and the NCAA. They never wanted to deal with you. They don't want nothing to do with you.
So another thing that I kind of go against is having all of us play each other in that play-in game.
Well, like I said, Doc, the NCAA done showed me enough. I wish we didn't have to deal with them. Like I tell y'all all the time, I don't want to say the wrong thing on your show. I don't care if we don't have the ESPN, and I don't care if we wasn't under the NCAA. They can kiss, you know what, both of them. Because I know the history of both of them and how they've treated. I done told y'all over and over. I remember when they used to have all them big-time SWAC games on a Thursday when people couldn't even get to the game. It didn't make no sense. It was disrespect. They was doing that on purpose.
Right.
I'm just so sick of, like I said, being a battle thing. You instead of trying to strike out on your own, you rather sit there and let the people mistreat you. It don't make no sense.
I'll put it just like this. I wouldn't mind seeing all of us have our own tournament.
Thank you.
But I also wouldn't mind seeing we get some top players or some good players, develop them, and go out there and beat the brakes off of somebody like a Kansas, like a Duke, like.
Well, Doc, the main thing. And I done said that we got to do better with these coaches. Listen, you are not going to attract top coaches talking about you're going to pay them $120,000 and you Division I. That don't make no sense. We got to put more money into the SWAC. Dr. McClellan and that SWAC office got to make basketball more relevant. They got to put more time and effort. There's got to be more organization put into it. I done said this over and over. I know that the Gene Bartow Center is nice in Birmingham, but that is not geographically the best place that tournament should be held. And I'm going to say it again. The number one spot that SWAC tournament should be in is Jackson, Mississippi. The number two spot should be Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Why? Because geographically it makes the most sense. Everybody can get to Jackson, Mississippi.
Right.
If you can't get to Jackson, the other centrally located school is Southern University.
Right.
Now, it don't take a rocket scientist to know that. Okay? We had Friday night, we had 2 semifinal games. We come up with 1,400 people paid attendance. I'm sorry, 1,700 paid attendance Friday. Saturday, we come in for the championship now, 1,400. Listen, we got to do better than that. And we're supposed to be Division I. Okay, we got to do better than that. That's not even a good high school crowd. The week before, I went down and watched 4 high schools play down at Georgia State's new arena. I'm sitting in the midst of 7,000 to 8,000 people. And we can accept 1,400 paid attendance for our championship game. That don't make no sense. I'm telling you right now, it only takes a little organization, a little time. It don't make no sense. We got to do better with this basketball tournament. Now, you talking about them players, let me tell you something. Good coaches attract good players.
Right.
Good coaches ain't coming for no $120,000. I'm telling you. They're not coming for that.
I wonder what, in a sense, I wonder what Coach Blakely did to get Bakura Maker to come to Howard. The year
He
that
came to homecoming. He wrote the story. He came to homecoming.
he went to a
He
homecoming.
went to a homecoming and it blew his mind. Because remember, and I think he was out in Arizona somewhere, which he was basically, he was seeing very few blacks because he was an African. And they
Mm-hmm.
brought him to Howard's homecoming and it blew his mind. Like they always say, and I think Dion was known for it. He said, the
Yeah.
worst thing you can do is bring him to a black college homecoming because it'll get him every time.
Guess we need to start bringing it to a black college homecoming more
Hey,
now.
listen, last year, I was told y'all had 300 top athletes at Jackson State's homecoming. The next
Mm-hmm.
week, when you played Southern, I think they said they had 200 or 300 at that. That's what
Another
everybody
200.
got to do.
Yep.
But see what we're doing. We listen. We got to organize. This has been said for 400 years. We got to organize. We got to strategize. We can do it.
Right.
We can do it. We can do it. Whether we have the tournament here in Atlanta, this National Black HBCU tournament in Atlanta,
Oh, yeah.
Charlotte, Dallas, whether we have it in New Orleans, baby, it'll work itself out. It'll work itself out. Because if you go back and study business in America, one thing, when we do our thing in business and it's organized and it's done right, we profit.
Right. That's correct.
That's history. But see, we want to be in somebody else's yard. We just feel like that white man's water is colder. We got that inferiority complex. We just got it. Now, let me just say that, like I was telling that young man talking about some of us. See, this black college renaissance, this is because 30% of black people in America today have decided they don't want no more integration. They want their heritage. That's
Right.
what they're going back to, their heritage. Now, 70% of our people are totally out of control. Okay, y'all can argue about it all night. 70% of our people is out of control. That's why we're killing each other. We're breaking into each other's houses. We're robbing each other. But 30% of our people have made up their mind.
Right.
They want their heritage.
So yeah, I understand where you come from. I understand what a lot of people come from because of the simple fact, like we always talk about FAMU, right? We always talk about we figured FAMU was going to be, FAMU is the quintessential HBCU.
It's one of the top ones, according to the one of the magazines. They the number one public supported HBCU in the country.
Right.
Yeah, big time now.
And we understand as far as when it comes down to it, you got football. Football is king. It runs the, you know what I'm saying? It runs the show. But you want to be good at everything.
That's the way I was brought up. If you're going to field the team, try to make it a championship team. See, when I was coming along, that was the philosophy of FAMU. Like, Doc, I've told you, I know I show my age all the time. I saw Jake Gaither. I saw him, my scoutmaster would take us to their games. I saw AJ Triplett as their basketball coach. He was good. I saw Coach Lane. Guys would be running at FAMU. You turn on the TV in the summertime, they running and representing America in the Olympics. I saw Costa Kittles with Andre Dawson and them. Mm-hmm. Okay, so they did it back then. You can't tell me they can't do it today.
Right.
Okay, let's see what Mike said. Mr. Ford, most of our people have prime mindsets. They view elevation as assimilation on the grade. We don't have a builder's mindset. Now, that's that. Like I said, that's that 70%. But 30% of our people do. They do 30%. I'm telling you, it's about 30 to 33% of our people. They do have the builder mindset, and they ain't finna beg nobody for nothing. They rather do for themselves. They want to educate their own children. They want to have safe communities. They want to, do things for them. They don't believe that white man's water is colder. They don't believe that white man, that white woman, and that white child are superior. They don't believe that. But 70% of our people do believe that.
Right.
They do.
So, yeah, Hey, Simona, what's up?
Okay.
Hey, Miss Mona,
Hey, I
you
was
know
just
I'm going off in here.
yeah. I I was supposed to just tap in and give my
Yeah,
support and roll out, but baby, these people in these comments keep on
Yeah, I
saying,
see him.
how is it gonna work? How is it gonna work? Well, for one, with HBCU, we know we have the culture, and
Yeah,
so it's not just going to be a basketball tournament.
right.
So the way that you, number one, of course, is location. So Mr. Ford already told us about what two locations we need to have it at for the SWAC tournament. But I will also venture to say they don't have any added activities. So a battle of the bands will also need to be incorporated into this basketball tournament. So
yeah,
there's a lot of people that are band heads that just off of the fact that the bands are competing, they're going to
Hmm.
show up. So, and then also, um, cheerleaders, they have battles too at halftime. So
Yeah,
there's more in order to up the ante as far as attendance. Number one, you have to make the tournament affordable and
right,
also within reason to where if there is a game on a Wednesday or a Thursday or a Friday, it's in driving distance to where you can make it to that tournament and you can
right,
still go to work the next day or
right.
you can still make it home, you know, if it's in the middle of the conference. Um, if you're Valley and you get out of class at 1 o'clock and it's Valley versus Southern and it's at Jackson State, you can drive down there and, get back the same day
right.
and be in class the next day. So that's important. The thing with the CIAA blueprint in Charlotte is that a lot of times, which for HBCUs, a lot of the people that were coming into Charlotte, they were not actually like it was right after the NBA All Star game.
Right,
Hmm.
right,
Everybody would converge onto Charlotte. But the people that were in Charlotte, the people that were running these parties, a lot of them were from Atlanta, Miami, New York. They weren't even
They
from
was
Charlotte.
outsiders.
They were outsiders. And then the people that were attending all of these brunches and parties and concerts, they weren't going to the tournament. So I feel like it should be centered around HBCU culture. So if they need to have an artist come in during halftime to perform with the band, okay, I can understand that. But it needs to be affordable. That's number one. Number two, it needs to encompass more than just the basketball
Hmm.
game. You have to encompass all of HBCU culture in these tournaments.
Right.
But I think that it's a great idea. I don't understand why we're catching so much flack for creating our own postseason tournament.
Can I answer that, Mr. Moon? Can I tell you why? Can I tell you why? The
Why?
reason these people are saying the stuff they're saying in this chat is because they don't know history. They don't understand that there's nothing new under the sun. They talk about how can we listen? If you go back and study the history of HBCU, especially basketball tournaments, we've always had national tournaments. They did okay initially, like I told y'all, if you would go back and read it, when those people Coach was over at North Carolina Central. They got a book written by him. He went to University of Kansas. He coached Sam Jones. He coached the guy that was the coach. They called that guy Skull Barnett. I'm trying to think of that coach's name. He was the godfather of black college basketball for many years. Oh, I can't think of his name. I'm getting old. But anyway, he was the one who came up with the idea of the CIAA tournament. He also push for a national tournament. Now, his idea was for the black colleges to have a national tournament. The two schools, thank you, Ronald, John McClendon. McClendon said after the national tournament, we would send the top two schools to the NAIA. Why the NAIA? Because the NCAA didn't want nothing to do with HBCUs. Because the power in the NCAA for basketball was this man named Adolph Rupp. He was at Kentucky. Okay, if you know anything about him, he was a master racist. He didn't want no black people around him at all.
It took him a long time to get.
That's right. Eventually, y'all know Pat Riley? Pat Riley played for him. When I was a kid, his star player was named Dan Issel and Louis Dampier.
Hold up, mister. Hold up. Wait a minute. Blue just hit the nail on the head. Number 16 seed Fairleigh Dickinson out of New Jersey just upset the number 1 seed Purdue.
Yeah.
Well, that's going viral on Twitter.
Listen, I'm gonna be honest with you. A lot of them Big Ten teams, they do fold in them tournaments. Now, don't get me wrong. Yeah, sometimes they win.
That just speaks to number one. That speaks to seeding and how the odds are stacked against you.
Yeah.
And it amazing for congratulations to Fairleigh Dickinson. Didn't they have to play a play-in game?
Yeah, they played Texas Southern.
Can you imagine playing a play-in game? Now Texas Southern wasn't necessarily the hardest game that they had to play, but can you imagine you have to play a play-in game, then you have to go and play the number 1 seed just a couple days after? Like, I don't think people understand how bad these odds are with regards to tournaments. But I just wanted to quickly point out the CBI tournament, because I don't hear anybody complaining about the CBI tournament, which takes place from March 18th through the 22nd.
Right.
And the coach says whether you're in the NCAA tournament, the NIT, or the CBI, you still have the opportunity to play for a championship. So what I'm saying is, if you weren't complaining about CBI and you weren't complaining about NIT, why are you now complaining when we say, let's make our own tournament?
Yeah. And Miss Tamika Reed and the Jackson State women would be the number 1 seed for our women. Instead of 16 in the mother folks tournament, they'd be number 1.
I mean, I don't even know if you could, because it's just a postseason tournament. I don't even know if it couldn't be on some stuff like y'all play in the regular tournaments and then y'all come play in this invitational and just call it a postseason HBCU invitational.
We need it.
Can I say this?
You need to forego the NCAA tournament or the NIT or the CBI. Like, you can just have a postseason HBCU invitational with the battle of the bands, with the cheerleading competition, and make that a thing. Whether you have it in Atlanta or Memphis or like.
So let me explain the reason why I'm gonna get to the Fairleigh Dickinson thing right now. So Fairleigh Dickinson, like I said, is based out of New Jersey. They did not win their conference tournament, the NEC. Merrimack won the NEC, but because they are transitioning from a Division II to a Division I school,
that's right.
They were ineligible to play in the postseason, and that was the same thing for the football team too. That's the reason why they had a decent season. That's the reason why they didn't get to the FCS playoffs. So Fairleigh Dickinson goes in as the second place team to represent the conference. And if you watch the game on, what was that, Wednesday? Yeah, Wednesday, because they just played tonight. They were more, I don't know if I would say they was more mentally prepared, because of the simple fact that the NEC finished their tournament pretty much the week before everybody else's tournament had even started. Like your major school, your major conferences, like your Big 12 and your Big 10s, they all started last week. Us, as far as SWAC, MEAC, we all started last week. These dudes was finished 2 weeks ago. So to me, and I'm saying it just like this, Mr. Ford. I don't want you to get mad at me.
No, I'm not
Don't.
getting that. But can I respond to this, Russell Haynes? Just because we won an HBCU tournament, that's backwards. Do you know that's some Sambo thinking? You said Timona HBCs wants to move up, not backwards. Wait up. That's some Sambo thinking if I ever heard it. Now, if that ain't what they call that Stockholm syndrome right there, that's bad. Because
Yeah.
we want to have our own tournament. And move up. That's backwards. That's some Sambo thinking. Mr. Haynes, Russell Haynes, that's really backwards right there, man.
Now
So
I'm a.
this is only
Let me
the
land this plane though.
this is
sorry.
only the second time that a number 16 team has upset a number 1 seed. It
That is
says
correct.
University of Maryland, Baltimore counties celebrate their team's 75-54 win over Virginia in the first round of the 2018 NCAA Men's College Basketball Tournament.
Exactly 5
So
years
if
ago.
that in the last 40 years, if only 2 number 16 teams have ever upset a number 1 seed, why would you continually, and 99.99% of the time, an HBCU is going to be seated at 16 out of 40 years? Only 2 teams have won. The odds are so far stacked against you. Like, congrats to Farley Dickinson, and I think you're going to elaborate a little bit more about that team. But the odds are stacked so far against you. And on top of that, they actually added in another add-on game or a play-in game. Like, I don't think people are listening to the percentage. It's like it's probably 0.000001. It really is. Like, you have to play a playing game, then you have to play the number 1 seed. The NCAA tournament has been going on for 40 years, and only 2 teams have ever done it.
It's longer than that.
Listen, Mr. Russell Haynes, it's obvious by what you said. You haven't done your studying. Listen, there's a book that's written by John McClendon. It was written by a guy, last name is Katz. Let me recommend the reading. Please go and read that. Please go read that book. Read the book, please. Because
So
I'm going to say this again. There's nothing new under the sun.
So it's all when it comes down to it in the tournament time, and most of us who watch tournament, you can agree with me. It's about runs. It's about matchups. You catch one team slipping, like a higher seed team slipping, like what we saw yesterday with Princeton taking over Arizona. Caught them slipping. Then you seen Furman take down Virginia, and that's the second time Virginia in as many years who had a higher seed get taken out in the first round by a lower seed. If that guy did not throw that pass, which I'm trying to figure out, and I understand it's a young man, he's still in college, but I'm still trying to figure out for the life of me, why would you throw that pass? You in the middle of the court, knowing that all you have to do is throw it in, you run the clock out, you know what I'm saying? You move on to the next round. All right. So it's all about runs. So what I saw yesterday, so let's take example, Howard playing Kansas, right? Howard in the first half was going toe to toe with the defending national champions in the first half, and on 3 separate occasions had the lead. So basically, they running up and down the court with these dudes. They can shoot the three. That they are athletically built to run against a team like Kansas. In the second half, you see the difference in the second half because it's always about it's always a tale of two halves. Second half, they start they they start to go away from what they were doing in the first half, what was working for them in the first half. And so when you stop going to doing what you're doing that you had the success with, and plus, of course, Kansas was going to make adjustments anyway. They're going to make their second half, they were going to make adjustments for the second half anyway. You just see like where the lead would just started ballooning up. They were down, I think they was down by 6 or 7. And then next thing you know, Kansas go on a run. Howard down by 17. Then you see another run. They're probably down by 20, 24 points. And then you see it like if you stick to the formula that got you there in the first place, and then you tweak it a little bit, but you stay with that same formula that got you there, that kept you in the game for most part, then there's by chance you can either be close or you can win. Most of the time, teams would try to play the same, those lower seeded teams would try to play that same type of tempo, same type of style as the higher seed team. And it's something that you just can't do. You just got to go with what works. You know what I'm saying? What works for you. So, like on Wednesday, when you saw Fairleigh Dickinson go up against Texas Southern, they played a spread type offense. It's like watching football on the basketball court. But the way that they did it was 5 dudes all crowded at the 3-point line. They're shaded around the 3-point line. But as soon as they get to that 3-point line, they're going into motion. They're going into their offensive set. So they're playing a motion type offense where everything is cutting, going to the baseline, back doors, screens, pick and rolls. They are basically and they was moving without the basketball. That's one of the things that we as some teams don't do. They don't move without the basketball. It ain't like you have to have the ball in your hand. No, that ball don't even have to touch the damn floor. You know what I'm saying? As long as you keep moving that ball and you keep moving, if you're open, you're gonna get that shot. You're gonna get that look and you're gonna get that shot. You'll probably make it 9 times out of 10. And especially if you're getting a back cut or a backdoor pass.
It makes Texas Southern's loss look a lot better.
It make it look
a hell of a lot better.
It make it look better.
Texas Southern lost to Farley after they upset the number 1 seed. It makes Texas Southern's loss not look so bad.
Right.
So can I say this right here? Blue is saying this stuff about the talent gap is closing in Division I basketball. That's Blue. This is what it's all about. In the 90s, the kids decided they didn't want to go to college but 1 year. So the best kids would come to the schools, go to college 1 year. They call it one and done. That has weakened college basketball. You got to remember, Patrick Ewing in the 80s played 4 years of college basketball. Michael Jordan during the 80s played 3 years of basketball. And so that's why you see these 16 seeds being able to take off them 1 seed is because of one and done. One and done.
One and done. So then too.
That's what changed basketball. Not the talent gap. It's one and done. The kids now, the top 25 or the top 50 kids now, really don't even want to go to college. They don't want to go to college no more. And that's what has brought a little parity into college basketball.
It says that
So
Farley Dickinson it has the shortest players in the tournament,
yeah,
and they
and they
beat
was
the team that has the tallest player. Man, Vegas made that call. I don't care what y'all say.
Thank you, Surfer
Vegas,
Boy 3000. You right. That's it. There you go.
so
No,
if you think about it, and yeah, it's true. Like just think about this: '90s, in the '90s, in the mid '90s. Remember, Kevin Garnett. He didn't even go to college. He didn't
He
even
didn't go to
skip college.
college.
He went straight from high school to the
Jermaine O'Neal.
NBA.
Did
Jermaine
Jermaine
O'Neal.
O'Neal go to college?
Nope. He came straight out of high school. Kobe Bryant, Tracy McGrady. We talking
Yeah.
about all these kids, these dudes that could have went to somebody's school and probably would have played for 1 year, and
Well,
then they
Blue,
could have
well,
just
let me ask
came
Blue
out.
this question. Let me ask Blue this question.
Go
At
ahead.
Farley Dixon, are they paying their coach their head coach $120,000? You get what you pay for. If you go and check the salaries at Farley Dixon and tell me that the head coach makes $120,000.
I think what people miss is that they like there's always going to be a discount, or they're always going to basically find ways to widen that gap back open.
Mm-hmm.
So the gap is closing with the transfer portal. Now we have NIL deals, or um, you're going to always, if you're HBCU, you're always going to be a 16 seed. The mid majors that blue is talking about, they get 13, 14, 12 seeds. So if you're a 12, 13, 14 seed, of course you're going to be able to upset. It's just looking
Not
at
all the time.
this. Not all the we're talking about statistics though. Like
Okay.
if you look at the statistics, which I guess I need to pull it up, like what is the statistical analysis for a 3 seed beating a 14 seed beating a 3 seed, or a 15 seed beating a 2 seed, or a 16 seed beating a 1 seed. So if you guys like look at the basically the percentages of statistics, which I'm going to have to pull up that statistical analysis so you can look at it. If HBCUs are already slotted at 16 seed every single tournament, then you already have an advantage against you. If you have to do a playing game, you already have another strike against you. Like what we're saying, I'm going to have to actually pull up the statistical analysis for people, because it's similar to the FCS national championship argument, where they talk about, well, why don't you guys compete in that? But they don't also talk about how home advantage plays a really big part in schools being able to win those games. Like, I think I'm going to pull up that stat as well so that you can see that we're not just pulling these statements out of our ass. There's statistical data to basically heighten the reason for why we're saying that HBCUs either need their own tournament or they need to restructure the tournament so that it's equitable. We're not asking for equality, we're asking for equity, like equitable. And there's a difference when people say, well, I want everything to be equal. It's not going to be equal, but asking for it to be equitable is more along the lines of what not just HBCUs, but minorities in general. You need for things to be equitable. So I'm getting ready to
Well,
pull up those stats.
I'm gonna say it just like this. We got Dr. McClellan. He's on the committee he has the committee now for the NCAA tournament and hopefully he could get something to where it's equal for all teams that want, that's trying to get in. But I would agree. Look, I would rather see have us have our own tournament with our own thing, do our own thing. Um, I'm just in that type of mind, headspace right now. But I would like to see us win against a number 1 seed. I would like to see us. We done it before, playing beating a number 2 seed as a 15 seed. Um, so it's not like it has not been done before. I just wanted, you know what I'm saying? I just wanted to where we're not getting our head knocked in like every freaking year.
Well, speaking of Dr. McClellan, one of the things he needs to do is he needs to let these SWAC schools and these MEAC schools know if we can get highest basketball salaries, we can get a better grade of coaches. Okay, somebody just put up there that the guy Farley Dixon making 200,000. Okay, how many black college coaches in the SWAC or in the MEAC making 200,000? That's what I'm saying. You get what you pay for. If we bring up these salaries, we can attract some top-notch candidates.
Okay, and so thank you for pulling up the statistics. This is the statistical analysis, and when we're working with numbers, sorry, give me 1 second.
Go ahead.
Okay. So basically what I'm trying to show you is numbers, which when you're dealing with numbers and stats, it's going to give you an overall view of why seeding matters.
Right.
So this is tournament odds by seed. So what is the odds that you are likely to win a championship than the next best seed? So it says 85% of number 3 seeds make it to the second round, but just only over 11% make the final 4, or 1 every 2 years. So let's go look at the lower tier seeds, because not even just HBCUs, but mid-majors overall, they these are the stats. So the probability that a 16 seed is going to beat a number 1 seed, it's that would be less than 1% chance. And I think it's going to increase by a little bit now that they upset Purdue. 15 seed. So all of these are stats that basically let you know making it out of the second round, making it to the Sweet 16, the Elite 8, the Final 4.
Mm-hmm.
And look at this right here. Anybody that's seeded below a 12 seed, statistically, it's not there that you'll make the Final 4. So why does seeding matter? Seeding matters because if you are perpetually seeded lower than you should be, then that means that you're automatically going to be out of the tournament. If you're out of the tournament, you don't have a chance to get $2 million or whatever the payout is. So statistically, based off of this, people who are saying, well, it could happen, 4% chance that a 13 seed goes to the Sweet 16. And these are just stats. Like it's a fact that if you are seated below 12 and below, it's a 0% chance that you're going to make it to the Final 4. See that? I didn't make it up. It's right here. 0% chance.
Hey, Drake, on 1938, you are a prime example of Stockholm syndrome. That's what you are. You're a prime example of Stockholm syndrome. Drake on 1998.
I think he's from Birmingham, but
and he's a cheerleader for anything PWI. He won them white folks water coldly. He wanted that crew. That's what you are. You're a cheerleader for anything PWI. You Uncle Ruckus.
Whoop, not Uncle Ruckus. All right, man. So let's move to. But I'm gonna say it just like this. It would be good. It would be nice. It would be fun to have our own tournament and to determine who is the best basketball team at HBCU. But I still would say, in a sense, in I wouldn't say it's my opinion, but um, that I, I want to see us do better and get better. I want to see anything, I want to see us try to get these teams to where these schools to where they are on equal footing, and I also want to see them be the number one seed. that's just that's just my imagination. That's my dream right there. So it's that's something that I want to see. But um a lot of people while we're here is look, I want to go ahead and get this started. And like we said earlier, and Mr. Ford, you announced it, you put it out there earlier. We lost a a dear pioneer for HBCUs. He championed HBCUs out there, and I'm saying talking about Kofi Hemingway. Uh, family. I mean, FAMU grad, and I talked to Mr. Campbell last night. I think he's 86, 87. Um, he's around that time. He got the FAMU, or he graduated from FAMU, but um most of us know him. Most of us seen him and know him from um being the yin to Scotty's yang. I'm gonna just say it just like that. He was part of the Afterglow show with Scotty on off script, and when it comes down to it, he he just didn't champion for FAMU. He championed for all HBCUs, no matter if you were SWAC, MEAC, CIAA, SIAC, in NAIA, uh, even our black JUCOs out there. Um, it was, he spoke up for us, and he also spoke into the existence where schools need to take accountability for what they do. And um I never met him in person, but if I did, he probably would talk to me about fan. He'd probably talk to me at all black colleges and universities. He'll probably have me busting the gut laughing. We don't. I mean, I wouldn't know what he would say or what he would do because uh, his life was gone too soon. And I'm I'll say, you know, because our real ones, what we call the real ones, the ones that keep it 100, 100 all the time, they leaving us. They dying on us. And I got Mr. Campbell right here. Um, he, uh, most of the time I feel like when it comes down to it, we got to get our affairs in order with our loved ones, because we never know when they gonna leave this earth. And so I'm not, I'm not gonna hate. I'm not gonna fuss. I'm not gonna do anything. I I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I was at work and I watched Scotty on his show earlier, and it was only a 10-minute show. He is devastated because in a sense that was not only his broadcast partner, but he looked at him as a friend, and in some ways, Kofi would try to, he would tell Scotty, "Hey, this is what HBCUs are all about. This is how we do things. Sometimes we don't want to buck the system, but this is just what this is what we got going for us right now." And I ain't trying to throw salt on the wound. I'm not trying to do none of that. Like I said, I got my 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 olive branch right here, and and you know, just gonna continue to pray, because I'm gonna tell you just like this, y'all. My grandma, God rest her soul, she that's the way she taught me how to be. You can you can fuss and fight, you can argue, you can, what I'm saying, beat each other down. But at the end of the day, both of us are still young black men with families and stuff like that. So look, I'm just gonna say it like this. I'm praying for him. And I'm praying for Kofi's family. Um, it was just hard, like, in a sense, it was just hard to hear that last night. Just not even hear, just to see that last night. Um, and it, like I said, I'm thinking, I tell you, I watched the show, the Afterglow show, because I like what he be saying, and I like when he be busting out with the rendition of the Wiz with the Mean Online and the Tin Man. Um, I like when he talk about FAMU and what FAMU got going on. You know, um, another group that is heard on here too is his other group, the ONG Strike Zone. Um, he was a big integral part with that YouTube show right there. And that song, I think that's on BCSN. Um, it just baffled my mind that he gone. And the crazy thing is he was only 10 years older. I mean, anybody have something to say? The floor is y'all's.
I just want to say kudos to what you said. Kofi came from a Vanguard family, like you said. Actually met Kofi on Off Script show. I never met him in person. I knew of his father. I was a history major. At that time, it was called Clark College. His dad was well known in the Black history circles. I met his dad through another great rally. I think I said this earlier. Was Charlie Ward Sr.,
Mm-hmm.
who I met when I was coaching girls basketball down in South Georgia. He invited me to the Black History program, and it was there that I met Dr. Hemingway. That was Kofi's father, who was a dynamic Black historian and one of the top teachers of Black history throughout the United States. And so, yes, it hurts me a lot too. And like I said, I want to express my condolences once again to Kofi's family. Kofi's dad, I knew. Vaughn Wilson, who's he works with Tolly and them. His dad was also big down at FAMU when I was growing up. He actually wrote a book about Vaughn's father wrote a book about Jake Gaither. and he was also, I think, at that time the SID.
Hmm.
So yeah, this is a major blow for us. This is because this is like you said, that's a lot of HBCU history, legacy, tradition right there. When you talk about the Kofi's family and Kofi.
Yeah, and when he's talking about the highest of the seven hills, he I get the laughing because how he says it. And it's like, but he says it, but he say it with so much passion and so much conviction. It's like you can never this never go wrong. You got things to say, Timona? I think she did listen. But it's it's a hard pill to swallow, y'all. It's a hard pill to swallow. And for us men, especially for us men that's in our 40s and our 50s and up, man, we gotta take care of ourselves more. We gotta be. I'm not saying something was wrong with it, but I'm just saying as far as men, we have to take care of ourselves health wise. Um, that's the reason why I go to the doctor like every 3 months just to make sure my blood pressure is good, just to make sure that my sleep apnea is at a level where I won't have to need my machine anymore. But um, also go to the doctor, talk about my weight and what I need to do. Um, health as well. That's key. Health is wealth. And if we ain't got no health, we sure ain't gonna get no wealth. So I mean that's something that we need to think about, as we get older. So I know with me, I go back to the doctor in August, and he wants to see um some improvement with me, but man, it's just a hard pill to swallow, y'all. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna let him hear his band one more time, y'all. I'm gonna let him hear the Marching 100 one more time. You ain't got a word no more, man. Cause the good Lord said you gotta come home to him. You're a part of his army now in heaven. You may be gone from the physical, but your spirit gonna live on. Ain't no more suffering, y'all. Ain't no more pain for him. He's at the heaven gates right now. God told him to come on home, y'all. Got another one. Oh, my God, see my face. I'm crying right now. We taking Kofi home with the Marching 100, y'all. And we got one more, two more, because we want to play the alma mater so he can go home. And praise his alma mater one last time. Somebody said I gotta play SOS. I'll do it. It's for you, Kofi. This is what he would have wanted right here, y'all. If y'all want to donate to his kids and his wife, I think there is a cash app. Um, um, I gotta get the cash app, but I think just go on our script. He has it set up for a cash app. Y'all cash app the family. Make sure you put in there your condolences and that's it. But man, we gonna miss you, dog. We gonna miss him. Um, anything? Anybody got to say anything before we roll up out of here? Uh, anybody had something to say before we roll up out of here? Mr. Ford,
No, I think you said it all.
Timona. Uh-oh. Well, I thank y'all for joining me tonight. Be back tomorrow night for She Loves Deep and Doc Saturday Night Live. I want to keep the show going, but my brother is hungry right now, and we'll keep going. We'll probably keep it going tomorrow night, man. But as always, man, y'all have a good one. Make sure that you like the stream. Make sure you comment, share. Most of all, subscribe. Become a Overdrive fan. Also, hit that notification bell to get everything HBCU Overdrive. But as always, y'all stay blessed, stay safe, and stay dangerous. Kofi, we miss you. We love you, and you with God right now. Y'all have a good one. Y'all have a good one tonight. Peace.